A Taste. Written by Bonster. Read by Arashi. Aren't you going to invite me in, Sayada-chan? Kokichi Oma lounges in his doorway. His dark hair is spiky but soft, and his violet eyes vibrant. He's looking at Shuichi from underneath fanned lashes, gently biting his bottom lip. Shuichi rolls his golden gray eyes. Kokichi's attempts at flirting had been nothing but over the top so far, so Shuichi thinks it's just another tactic to get under his skin. Why would I do that? He crosses his arms. He's tired. After the execution today, he just wants to try to sleep, even if he's not sure he can. The horror of it sits right on the surface of his thoughts. The agony and the blood scream through his brain. His sultry expression turns into a pout, and the ultimate supreme leader, more like ultimate liar, Shuichi thinks, crosses his own arms. My beloved detective is so mean. He sniffs, and tears start to flow. How he turns on the waterworks that way is a mystery to Shuichi, but it's not one he wants to solve at the moment. I'm tired, Oma. What do you want? Kokichi sighs in exasperation. Fine. He straightens, but leaves his arms crossed. I want to talk about strategy. The look on his face is serious and solemn. Shuichi hesitates. Why can't this wait until morning, and we can talk about it with everyone? Exhaling in annoyance, Kokichi uncrosses his arms and says, Obviously, because we can't trust everyone. He looks at the nails on one hand, all bored nonchalance. Now, will you let me in? Shuichi blinks. You're saying you trust me? Sliding his eyes to the ultimate detective, Kokichi says, Clearly. He looks back at his nails, exuding apathy and boredom, though there's a hint of something there that Shuichi can't quite grasp. He's honestly floored by such an admission. To be this paranoid about others, but admitting to trusting Shuichi, who he also barely knows. Fine. Come in, Oma. If nothing else, Shuichi is curious. Kokichi smiles, wide and sharp. Call me Kokichi, Shumai. He pats Shuichi on the shoulder before sauntering in and looking around with interest. The interest dies pretty quickly, though, and Kokichi sighs. Your room is boring. He throws an accusatory glare at Shuichi. Shuichi frowns. I didn't have to let you in. I could have gone to sleep instead. He looks pointedly at his bed, before taking off his hat to run a hand through his dark blue hair. What's this about strategy? Oh, that. Kokichi goes to sit on the bed. There are 2 chairs in the room, and he sits on the bed. Shuichi glares. Kokichi smiles deviously and devilishly. I lied. Shuichi sighs. Of course you did. He moves and places his hat on the desk by the wall, and then rubs his temples after doing so. He sits in the nearby chair. What do you really want, then? You might as well see how this plays out. It's the fastest way to get rid of him and end this too long day. Kokichi giggles and stands. He walks over to Shuichi and promptly straddles him, then sits on his lap. Shuichi freezes. Kokichi leans in to whisper in his ear. You, Shumai. Giving Shuichi's earlobe a quick suck. He leans back and loops his arms around Shuichi's shoulder and plays with the hair on the back of Shuichi's neck. I want you. He's sure and smug, the gentle fingers running through his hair sending shivers through Shuichi. He shakes his head to clear it. What? Kokichi looks at him fondly, if not a little predatorily. You're pretty dense, detective, you know? Shuichi's eyelids flutter. No one's ever sat in his lap, and no one, to his knowledge, has ever wanted him. He repeats his question. Well, okay. Actually, I wanted to taste you. So, I needed you to invite me in. Shuichi panics and barely keeps from throwing Kokichi off of him, running to the others. His curiosity and shock drive him to stay put. Taste me? He asks, his voice several octaves higher than usual. The fond is replaced fully by a predatory sharpness. Taste you? Kokichi purrs, a low growl rumbling at the end of his words. He leans forward again and bites Shuichi's neck. Even factoring in Kokichi liking to get under his skin, Shuichi never thought it'd be literal. Pain blooms across his neck and shoots through his shoulder. He does try to shove Kokichi from him then, but it's like trying to move a building. He tries to sway away from the mouth sucking on his neck, but Kokichi's arms have him locked in place. Stop! Kokichi, stop! Shuichi's voice is breathless. Terror and shock course through him. He hears muffled laughter, and Kokichi, for some reason, does stop. He pulls back and looks at Shuichi with blood coating both his smile and his very sharp teeth. The blood dribbles down his chin and stains his white jacket. His eyes glow with inhuman brightness. with more red than purple in the irises. "You taste even better than I thought you would, beloved detective." His grin is endless self-satisfaction. Shuichi shudders at the vision before him, today's execution flashing through his mind. He stammers, You're a vampire." He tries to make it sound accusing, but it comes across at 3, 2, 1. But it just comes out of 3, 2, 1. But it just comes out a whisper of awe. He feels woozy from both the 3, 2, 1. He feels woozy from both the revelation and the blood loss. Vampires aren't real, he thinks vehemently. But if Monokuma exists, then why not vampires and monsters of all kinds? Damn this place. Remembering the wound on his neck and the pain of getting it, he attempts to lift his hand, watching the vampire carefully. Kokichi watches back, a smug sneer on his face. He licks the blood from his lips, which mostly smears it around. His arms around Shuichi's shoulders are relaxed, and he's playing with Shuichi's hair again. Most likely, he assumes that Shuichi's realized he can't fight him off and won't bother to try. He isn't wrong. In his current state, Shuichi knows it would just end badly for himself. He raises his hand to the wound at his neck, checking the damage, thinking of explanations and hoping Kirumi could help. He feels around for it, but finds nothing but drying blood. There is no wound. Shuichi frowns at Kokichi. "How?" Kokichi chuckles. "Just a thing I can do, Shumai. You're a detective. You'll figure it out." He presses a kiss to the end of Shuichi's nose. "But for now, you should go to sleep. You're up far past your bedtime." He gets up and takes Shuichi's hand and pulls him over to the bed. As he lays down, Shuichi has millions of questions running through his head, the main being, how is he supposed to go to sleep? A vampire just bit him during a killing game. Kokichi tucks him in, pats his head. He kisses Shuichi's cheek. "Go to sleep, beloved detective. Answers later." Shuichi closes his eyes. Just as he's thinking there's no possible way he's going to sleep for hours, he's already drifting, something within him deeply content. His last conscious thought is that it must be another thing Kokichi can do. Kokichi smiles fondly before letting himself out.